Simply put, it's one of the nicest true wireless earbuds of the year. Hey there, this episode of Some Gadget Guy is brought to you by viewers like you, all the folks sharing content across social media, and the amazing generosity of my patrons at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. More info on those awesome nerds later in the video. The folks at Status sent these my way to test drive and share some thoughts. I've been rocking them for a couple of weeks now. These are the Pro X, a triple driver true wireless earbud. We're in premium price territory here, and these are aiming to do battle with AirPods Pro and Sony XM5. Now, I enjoyed the Between 3 ANC earbuds from Status a couple years ago. Everything here has been upgraded. The design, it's a unique look, this block rectangular look, but the Pro X are a tiny bit smaller than the Between 3. The shape on these buds helps lock them in on my ears in a way that a lot of the cut off stalk earbuds press against the bottom of the bowl of my ear and they kind of wiggle their way out. These aren't deep-seated like my favorite professional IEMs, but they do get in just a little bit deeper. They aren't as shallow as, say, the OnePlus buds. The case has gotten a bit of a tweak too. They angle the earbuds inside to save even a little bit more space. Battery life is respectable. Status estimating 8 hours on a single charge with 24 total using the charge case. It's a little shorter than the Between 3 case, which might be because this is a smaller case. LDAC is the high-res codec of choice here, and it's always worth reiterating that this kind of feature is unfortunately wasted on iPhone owners because Apple does not enable better audio on iPhones, but Android users, you're going to be in for a treat. Because this is pretty brutal hardware to shove into your ear hole. Triple driver is making a big claim about audio quality. There's a dynamic driver, which at 12 millimeters is bigger than a lot of single driver earbuds, and then a pair of balanced arms per ear. Each hardware bit covers a different range of the audio spectrum. The big dynamic driver handles the lows, one balanced arm tackles the mids, and the other takes on the highs. It's like a speaker with a subwoofer, mids, and a tweeter. Division of labor helps. Each component can focus on a specific task, and that can improve audio quality. And I'll always get someone rushing in to correct a statement and, oh, but a single driver can be tuned to sound just as good as a multi-driver. And there are lots of multi-driver earbuds that aren't tuned well. Some cheap earbuds just pack in a bunch of drivers and some of them sound awful. But the flip side of that statement, that claim, that holds true too. If a well-tuned single driver can sound as good as some multi-drivers, then a well-made multi-driver offers up some advantages that single drivers will struggle to match. I think Status does this really well. We're aiming for a rich, colorful, consumer-facing sound, something that really drives your audio and your movies and your video games. This is not a reference grade or recording product. So that big, juicy shape works for me here. This bass is bouncy and fun. We can dig deep into some good rumble on the sub bass. The mids have plenty of room to stand alone on their own driver, especially in the standard tuning out of the box. It's very easy to place instruments and catch those fine details that can sometimes get lost on richer or fatter, bassier buds. The highs here have a lot of sparkle. They're a bit too aggressive for my tastes, but it all combines into a unique sound that stands apart from a lot of the other manufacturer earbuds that I've tried out. There's something unique here that's more fun than any AirPods I've ever listened to. Status has multiple tuning presets, and you of course can roll your own EQ. I did not like the audiophile preset much, but the Knowles preferred is interesting. It leans heavily on the balanced arms, and it's a big lift to the mids and highs, and I usually don't like that kind of peak, up into the crystal, but it exaggerates some of that mid-range in a way I really like on other kinds of solutions like planar magnetic headphones. It's almost like a sharpening filter on a photo, exaggerating attack and articulation. But that EQ is really silly. That spike in the upper air gets fatiguing fast on my ears. And this is where I also have a complaint. This is where I have a concern with the Pro X. I went in to adjust that EQ curve and just dial back the peak on those highs, and adjusting that one band, the sound completely changed and the volume jumped significantly completely free of the phone's volume. Had nothing to do with the phone's volume rocker, it was the presentation and the placement of audio. It was a shock, and it was kind of painful how much louder it got. I would be extremely careful making those adjustments. It's always handy to have an EQ, but I'd say flatten it all out first, then set a comfortable listening volume on your phone, and then make your adjustments. Another smaller concern, I don't think this one's a deal breaker, the wind filter on the ANC is a bit twitchy. You can hear it click on and off when wind conditions change. But the mic impacts on wind noise are really loud when you have that wind filter disabled. You do want it on when you're outside, but it was distracting to me that the filtering would change. I think in more controlled situations, though, the ANC here is very good. It's not as hyper-isolating as other earbuds in this price range, but it's got a really natural feel to it. And it doesn't seem to mess with the audio quality much, not pulling sound out of the audio files that you're playing. And lastly, and just one more minor concern, I was disappointed to see swipe gestures advertised on the website, but there only seem to be tap commands on this hardware. The touch surface is great for customizing volume and controls, but I wish I could swipe to control those actions instead, like they show in their marketing. This is an entirely reasonable price for a high-quality earbud. They start to approach more of a specialty solution, but there's a broad crossover here. As I play with them, I tend to put them up against earbuds like the newer edifiers, those planar magnetic edifiers. Something that you can tell that the audio quality and the sound and the presentation was the major focus, and then they built the tech around that. That's a really fun fight for me. I think, again, it's just sort of a different thing to talk about than this is your companion piece of audio hardware, and it was made by the same company that made your phone. I might need to write that up. I'll probably just turn that into an article on SomeGadgetGuy.com. Triple driver on one side up against a planar magnetic earbud on the other. There are lots of expensive earbuds that you can shop, but it is fun when you find those options that are doing something unique while focusing their attention on audio quality. It is a bit of a novelty, but there should be reasons to buy kit like this, and it's refreshing to hear something that isn't just trying to copy Apple. Even though I think the AirPods likely have better ANC and call quality, I would rock these any day, every day, because the audio is for me and I care about that audio. And if you'd like to see more of that conversation, if you'd like to see a roundup on some of these alternatives like the edifier, or maybe revisit something a little older like my Pura, I have some other triple drivers I'll be reviewing soon too. Drop me some comments down below. What kinds of comparisons would you like to see? I had a lot of fun with the Between 3 ANC, and the Pro X improve on what I liked before. Status is reinforcing a fun reputation for fun audio. So I will, of course, leave some links down below where you can find more information on the Status Pro X. Maybe you want to shop some of these bad boys online. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing my videos, subscribing to the channel. The sharing is probably the most important part these days, but, smash that bell icon and help out with some of these algorithms. I, of course, have some playlists if you'd like to focus some of the content that you see on my channel, but really, if you want to keep up to date, see what I'm publishing and what I'm talking about, the best place to do that is patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list of names scrolling by on your screen right now, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. These are the folks that are helping to keep the lights on here in the Gadget Lab. Some of them get early access to my videos. There's behind the scenes, production diaries, the private Discord, all of my videos in 4K. And you're really getting alerts when I publish something new. It's not like YouTube that seems to separate the creator from their audience. They're basically the coolest tech pals in the universe. So I hope you'll check them out. I hope you'll consider joining the community at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy, basically everywhere, but these days, trying to spend a bit more time on the Mastodons, a little on the Blueskis, and a lot less so on the Facebooks, Threads, Instagrams, and none at all on that dumpster fire site. And I will catch you all on the next review.